Hi guys, welcome back to Ask a Lawyer channel. How are you today? Ready for new stories? I have 5 for you today. The first one is about OP's sister, who in my opinion is a little bit jealous of OP. Enjoy the stories, guys, and don't forget to like and subscribe. And don't be shy to leave a comment. My sister, female 28, and I, female 22, live with my parents. My parents do not charge us rent, and I help with the bill while I go to grad school. What started this argument is that my uncle came for a visit to pick some things up. My uncle complimented my mom on having a daughter that finished university in 3 years, and I got into grad school at 21. My sister immediately says now she's 22. My uncle, mom, and I kind of had an awkward silence. My uncle then apologized for missing my birthday and gave me some cash. I thanked him for it. Then my sister said, I worked full-time while in school. My mom and uncle went off to get that tool he was going to use. I felt uncomfortable and went off to do my chores. My sister then at brunch said to my parents, you need to make her work full-time. I worked full-time while getting my undergrad. I just told her, what's your problem? How is your experience a reflection of mine? My sister then threw what I would call a tantrum because she started yelling and crying at my parents, who are in their 60s, that it isn't fair. My sister pointed her finger at me saying, they didn't help me like they helped you. I had to work. I replied, that's because she was helping her ex-boyfriend pay child support for his kids and constantly moving in with guys she hardly knew, paying for more than half their living. She chose that. My sister stormed off crying, and my dad said I need to be nicer to my older sister. My mom said my sister is just immature. I am frustrated. I feel I have to belittle my accomplishments because of her potential hurt feelings. She's almost 30 and acts like she's in high school. She cries whenever I comment about her behavior and point out facts. My dad then says I'm being mean, while my mom tries to tell her to act more mature. Last week, she got upset because I am child-free, and her kids won't have any nephews or nieces to play with. She tried to lecture me that I am selfish because I won't put my husband or kids first. I ain't even married, or have or want kids. I told her if putting myself first is considered selfish, feel free to call me a B. I need life advice on how to deal with her. She works from home now because of the virus. She tried to take my study room, and when I told her no, she said I need it more. She is now using my mom's study despite having an extra study room. She uses it as storage. I am not asking a right or wrong here, but advice on how to deal with her antics. I think that OP's sister is not so much unhappy with OP than she is about the facts of her life and the choices that got her to where she is today. Maybe advocating the same for OP is her way of not feeling bad about her life. Her gripe about being treated differently by parents, regardless of the circumstances that caused that treatment, is very real for her, and she is just aware of the hurt. She's still living it to some degree. Her priorities in life seem to also be very different from OP's. OP has been smart, focused on her education, working, being responsible to and for herself. She has freedom, unburdened with the unexpected family, and her whole life ahead of her. Her sister doesn't. I think OP needs to stop getting drawn into arguments with her. Update. I feel using the gray rock technique and disengaging when she is combative is the best solution. Also, for everyone saying I didn't work, I did. I worked part-time, 15 to 25 hours a week, while taking 15 credit hours, and once 18 credit hours, while commuting to a university over an hour away to save on living expenses. I was working part-time until the pandemic, so this is temporary for me. I think next time she wants to start a fight, I just acknowledge it and compliment my parents. If she wants to fight me, she can do that herself. I don't hate my sister. I just want her to work on herself and be happy someday. As I said in my title, last night I sat my daughter down and told her that if she switches her major, I will cease her tuition payments. My daughter is currently a freshman in college. She has just started her first semester, and I'm the one paying the bill. I have been saving for over 10 years to do this, and I am happy to do it, as long as I feel she is actually setting herself up for success. During high school, my daughter fell in love with computers. She took every class she could on programming and computer science and declared that her major going into school. I supported her through all this because I thought this is what she loved and felt it set her up for a good job after school. Last week, she was on fall break, so she came to stay with me over the weekend after spending a few days at my ex's house. My daughter, yesterday morning, decided to casually drop that she's planning on changing majors. I was shocked by this and asked why and what she was changing it to. She is planning on switching into the liberal arts program. Now, I know that major is the go-to punching bag and it feels cliché, but I was honestly a little shocked by how casually she acted about this. When I tried to get why she was switching, all I got was that all of a sudden she hates computer science and has made multiple friends who are majoring in LA. Apparently, she has been talking with the counselors up there as well, and they, along with her friends, have all recommended she switch majors. I tried to ask her the regular stuff. What about your future? How do you plan to get a job, etc.? And she decided to ignore me and tell me that it's none of my business and that she's an adult. This angered me. I'm the one paying for this. I feel I have a right to know and not be blown off like that. I thought over it all day, and so last night I sat her down and told her that while yes, she is an adult, I am the one paying for her education, and I won't be paying for her to get what is, in my opinion, a worthless degree. I told her if she doesn't want to do computer science, that's fine, but she needs to put more thought into the change and find something that she enjoys and can get her a career. And if in the end she decides that she's an adult and she wants to be a liberal arts major, she can pay for it like an adult should, with her own money. This did not sit well with her. We fought, and she left saying I'm trying to control her life with money and am being a major a-hole. My ex called me up after and told me that I'm no better than a dictator right now and that I'm using her college fund as ransom for her to do what I want. All I want is for my daughter to have a good life and job prospects. Am I the idiot here? Oh, well. I understand why OP got upset. His daughter didn't explain to him properly why she wants to change majors. She ignored OP and told him that it's none of his business and that she's an adult. She should have explained to him properly, and I'm sure OP wouldn't have made such a decision. Lots of college freshmen don't have a plan yet. But OP's daughter is going to school, and OP wants her to do well, and she won't do well in a subject she doesn't like. There are counselors at school that are much better equipped to help her figure out her future than her parent, who is hanging thousands of dollars in ransom over her head. Edit. Just to clarify some things, I do not have a problem with my daughter getting a liberal arts degree. If my daughter called me up now and gave me her reason for switching and a legitimate plan for how she will use this degree to secure a career, I would support her 100%. I don't care what my daughter does with her life. I just want her to do something with her life. I am looking to spend over $100,000 over the next 4 years. The least I feel I can ask of my daughter is to have a plan in mind before she decides to make changes on my dime. I get that young adults who go to college are using this as an avenue to find themselves and explore. A lot of people have told me that I should not treat this as setting her up for a career, and instead treat this as an academic experience to teach her life lessons. For those two last points, I don't agree. This money that I have saved is not a gift. It is what I have saved for 10 years to make sure that she has opportunities that me and my ex never had. This is my investment in her. For people who claim that I should be throwing my money at her, no questions asked, and support her, I respectfully disagree. Giving my daughter money for free, in my opinion, is the worst thing I could do for her right now. Supporting her as she makes a choice she has given me no justification for that will cost me thousands of dollars will kill me. And the fact that she seems to think that I am owed no explanation and that I should mind my own business because she's an adult is an insult to the investment I am making in her. I am not arguing whether or not I am wrong. If you all feel I am an a-hole for this, then I will accept that. I called my daughter and left a message saying that I wish to talk to her about this and that I feel we left off in a bad place and wish to talk about this more. If my daughter wants to go into liberal arts, then that is her decision. Whether or not I pay for it will be mine. I own several properties and rent them out. My son is 20 and goes to school near one of the properties, 10-unit luxury apartment. It's cheaper to let him live there rent-free than living in the dorms. Obviously, the condo is much larger, 3 bedrooms, 2-bath, gym on site, private, quieter, etc. I put several conditions on his living there rent-free. Nothing shocking, no smoking, he doesn't, no parties, keep the place clean, turn off the lights when you leave, and no moving people in. A couple of months ago, I noticed that the utilities at the condo skyrocketed because he moved in his girlfriend. His girlfriend was having issues with her roommates. To add insult to injury, this girl moved in her friend, who came out to LA to be an actress and who had nowhere to go. I told my son I didn't give a duck what problems these girls were having. No roommates, or he can move out. He lied to me about their moving out. I told him again, no roommates or leave. He started playing with semantics, how they're not really moved in and just spends a night or two. I don't give a duck. I could be charging $4,000 a month for the condo. This is Westwood, California. And by letting them stay there, it puts me at risk of their claiming tenant rights. That could cost me tens of thousands of dollars and lost rent and legal fees. And if that's not bad enough, his girlfriend talks about the condo as if it's their condo. Rather than fight with him, again, I asked my property manager to begin the eviction process on my son. I treat him no differently than people who don't pay their rent. I told my son I ain't paying for his boarding at school, and his ass is going to pay rent if he moves back home. The commute from my house to UCLA is a B. He's not 12. I don't owe him anything. He should be kissing my ring for paying for tuition and keeping him on my insurance plan. And no, I am not officially renting out the place to either of them. They don't have money, the credit, or respect to qualify to rent one of my properties out. I don't think OP is an idiot in this particular situation. Yeah, maybe kissing the ring is too much, but I get where he is coming from. What his son did is wrong. OP is right. Those girls could claim residency, and California has really good tenants' rights. It could be hard to move them out. If the son really wanted them to live there, he should have talked to his parents so that OP could have made an informed decision and look into getting a rental agreement signed. Of all the rules the kids could have broken, the moving someone in rule was arguably the one that was the worst to break. I get why OP is pissed off, and when you're that upset, you can come across a little worse than you do in the day-to-day. This is the dumbest argument I've ever been involved in, and definitely the most absurd work conversation too. I have a friend, Julie, who has just come back from maternity leave. She and I work on neighboring desks, and the setup is that the largest part of our desks are against each other in a way that leaves us effectively sitting in opposite sides of one large desk. We were on lunch break, eating at our desks, and Julie asks me about when my husband and I are planning on having kids. I reply, it's in the works, hopefully within the next year, definitely sooner rather than later. Then another coworker, who sits on the next set of desks over, hears us talking. Her name is Anna, and I'll admit that Julie and I don't really like her, and try to avoid conversations with her in general. Anna interrupts us and says, hubby and I are working on having a baby right now. Julie says, that's lovely. Anna then says something about hardly being able to wait for baby Joseph. I say, that's a lovely name. My father is called Joseph. Anna then says in a light tone, but there's clearly some venom in it, don't you go stealing my name now, and laughs. I'm a bit taken aback by this, to be honest. I'm not offended, but it's just a bit like, okay, never mentioned it, but sure. And it's really confusing to me because I know about a dozen Josephs. It's not exactly a unique name or something anyone could steal. Julie tries to change the subject, but there's 2 more occasions during the rest of the workday where Anna just sort of says something to me about not stealing her name. Both times in the same jokey but menacing tone. At this stage, she's getting on my nerves. And then Anna says, right as we're leaving, promise me you'll wait until after me so I get Joseph. And as she says it, she laughs like it's a really funny joke. Julie and I give each other a look that says we really do not get this joke. and I realize that she said I should wait until after she gets pregnant for me to get pregnant, in case I steal the name Joseph. We all head off. The three of us end up in a lift together, and Julie asks about my plans for tonight. I say, totally deadpan, going to make a baby. The name Joseph is so rare, I'm worried someone is going to steal it if I'm not quick enough, and Julie and I both burst out laughing. Anna is really offended. Cannot stress enough how livid she was after hearing me say that. Julie and I both think it's really funny, but I told my sister, and she says that while it was funny, I was kind of a bee about the whole thing. I am now doubting how funny it actually was. Am I the a-hole? Backstory, because some people were asking. Anna was fine when she first started working here a couple years ago, but she was a little too by the book, and got a bit email happy with HR early on, and would send emails roughly weekly, CCing in whoever it was about, reporting coworker X for saying she was going to vote on her way home, not allowed to talk about politics, and coworker Y saying she was going to niece's confirmation, not allowed to talk about religion, and stuff like that. We all just collectively stopped talking to her, so she no longer had ammo for HR. She eased up around the 3 or 4 month mark when she realized it was making her pretty unpopular, but people were still cautious around her. Me, Julie, Anna, and a couple other guys who work in different parts of the office are the only people still here who were here for that. And we're still cautious around her, even though she hasn't emailed HR in a while. Anna has previously tried to befriend us, and she's apologized for her actions in the past, but we still aren't her biggest fans. Anna's desk has the same setup as ours, but she doesn't have a desk mate because hers retired a few months ago and they haven't replaced her yet. And since Anna has been trying to talk to us over lunch or while we're working, we've tried to keep it professional, asking if she has a certain form or if she got my work-related email or stuff like that. But she wants to talk about outside of work and generally get to know us. We're cautious about this because of what happened when she started working here. Also, I know I could have said I'm not naming my child Joseph and been done with it. But first off, I'm not going to promise not to use it for the sake of a coworker I don't get on with, and also, it is in the running as a middle name, along with a few other options, in the 50% possibility that I get pregnant with a boy. I don't think OP is an idiot. Oh my God, none of them are pregnant yet at all. Looks like Anna can make jokes, but OP can't. It's not like she came up with a very unique name. Joseph is a very common name. The only way I could see both using the name possibly being an issue is if both people named their kids Joseph and they were incredibly close, where the kids would grow up together.